minutes. Gentlemen, being the final day of the event, Hyperactive Merchandising will be leaving us around 10 o'clock this morning. So if you would like to pick up your last opportunity for official merchandise, head on over to the Hyperactive Merchandise tent. They will do you a bargain today, looking to clear out stock. So go over and see the team from Hyperactive Merchandising and have a bit of a chat about coaches' gifts or gifts for the kids. Now is the time to go and see Michael and the team at Hyperactive Merchandising. Seconds, players and referees, 30 seconds.
And welcome back here to Dubbo. The sun is shining. It's finals day here at the Junior State Cup Northern Conference. The 16 girls division, Newcastle taking on the Taree Flames in the green strip. This round of 16 match. 25-minute games, no halftime breaks. And the two sides will change ends when a try is scored. The side's taking a little longer to get out on the field, so that clock is going to run down without play having commenced. And of course, for the finals component of the competition, 3 points for the first try scored and 2 points thereafter. The goal is to avoid as many drop-offs as possible. So that first try could be all important here, and Taree will get first use of the ball. So they tap and we are underway. James Preston with you for the call as Taree pop the pass nice and quick here through O'Connor. O'Connor now hopping in and acting half once again, moving out pace here is the Taree side. Sarah Harris rolls it back now. Last play here, Brown going for the line. They just got the touch in time. In fact, they'll get another couple of plays here. Taree. O'Connor firing it wide. That one a little too low and difficult to reel in. So Newcastle survived the first crack at their line. As I mentioned, that first try can be all important with the extra little bonus point there. So all offside here, Taree, which means another set to work with here for Newcastle. Easy meters out of their own end. Howarth plays it just shy of the halfway line. Up they step now. The big dummy comes across here from Ellers. And now Howarth retrieving possession. Ellers, Howarth once again. Nice driving set here from Newcastle, picking up good meters. Good roll ball too, as David Stone, the men's 20s origin coach, joins me in the booth. Last play now for Newcastle. They've got them backpedaling. Quick hands here. Oh, beautifully read though, out wide, David Stone.
Yes, very well constructed here. We have a bit of a powerhouse affiliate in Newcastle. Well coached here by some of the Newcastle leading women's opens coaches as well, in Rach Jeffs, very vocal in the box. I'm looking forward to this clash, a bit of a old hometown of mine, Taree, so looking forward to seeing how their development goes as well.
We'll see as well how biased you can be within this call.
No,
I know you're going to do your best job.
I'm neutral no matter what.
Spoken like a true colour commentator. They exchange possession here. Back in Newcastle's hands, of course, that first try, a crucial one, 3 points on the offering. They caught 10 shy of the halfway line. Taree step up.
Oh, that ball touched the line there.
Certainly did, but they've called play on. They've also called the number 2, Laura Watson, out of the play. In fact, they're going to go all the way back there and say the touch was actually made, so that means Watson was onside. They've played on halfway. Around about 3 minutes gone here. No scorer as of yet. Cox with a couple of dummies. Cox scything through them. No, she's been ruled back. For a moment there, she thought she was off for the prize. Last play now. Cox again scheming through the middle. Quick hands over the top. But once again, a really good read out wide. This time it was Ruby Paulson.
Yeah, nice tight defence there by Taree. In these age groups, they don't have the big long pass. So if you can stay nice and tight in defence and make the team go around you, you'll stay in this game for a very long time.
So Newcastle coming into this one heavily favoured. Of course, finishing top of Pool A. And Taree just scraping in to the round of 16 with the 6th place finish in Pool B. Play on is indeed the call. Last play, though, for the Flames. Got to come up with something here. But they marked up pretty well there, the Newcastle City Knights.
Yeah, it's a bit of an end-to-end grind here at the moment, and both teams will be wanting to not make any mistakes, not turn the ball over in cheap field position. And here we have Newcastle flying on from the box, but there we go, the commentator's curse. There's a mistake. Taree gets good field position here, working towards their try line.
I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen, but that was a really good indication of how slippery it is out there. Once that ball came into contact with the run there of Sophie Howarth, there was wet, just water spraying off all over from the surface. So it is very, very difficult still. We don't usually see things here for this tournament clear up until about 10 a.m. as the ball is left behind here from Taree. So those slippery conditions causing a few problems for both sides with their handling.
Yeah, it's still a little bit dewy. The first day they did have the mower out, which took the dew off the surface, but unfortunately at the moment the cows are very, very busy doing some other things and didn't quite probably get time to do that this morning. But it's a good test here for the girls and a good test of patience to see if they just play their basics and the 1% is right.
Here come Newcastle, sticking to their policy and driving up the guts here. Nice quick roll ball as well. Oh, bit of a sloppy one. Play on is the call nonetheless. They'll continue cycling the footy. Has it gone for the? Yes, it has. So they'll come back here. In fact, touch pass is the call, so 5 minutes gone. Still, neither side able to trouble the scorers board. And I think Taree will take a lot of confidence out of this first 5 minutes.
So they should. Like you said, they've only just scraped into the finals and playing the top team in Newcastle. But if they can stay in this grind, Newcastle may stress out a little bit and hit panic stations later on in the game, and it could really play into the favour of Taree here. So here's a good chance, though, for Newcastle with a repeat set from the 10-metre line.
Turnover here in favour of MacArthur, who then takes the first run. Here is MacArthur again. Just slowing things down with a couple of dummies. Now pops it back to the middle with Morgan. MacArthur once more to Morgan. Morgan tried to get it away. And they will rule a change over here. They didn't panic Taree. They stuck to their principles.
Yeah, no, Morgan just needed to hold that ball. They still had another 2 or 3 touches left up their sleeve there, Newcastle. So a little bit more patience needed on their strike plays on the 7-metre line.
So Taree up towards halfway. But coming unstuck there, just a little bit of miscommunication for that play. It was building nicely throughout that set. So they promote the footy nice and quick here, Newcastle, heading towards their sideline area for the subset. But they won't get that far because an indiscretion in the roll ball means Taree now have a good chance to launch an attack of their own here. Just above the head there of Mia Wall. It was a hard one to take high and behind her.
I'm sure both coaches will be saying just watch the ball, just control it. It is Dewey. You must play these 1%ers right and play down the other end of the field.
Short pass provided up through the middle. Nice run there from McCarthy. It's both MacArthur and McCarthy out there for the Newcastle City Knights. And here is McCarthy now in at acting half. Ellers slowing it down. Real patient build-up here from the Knights. McCarthy, good hands, just managed to reel it in at full tilt. That was wonderful skill there from McCarthy.
Yeah, but a good defensive read there by Paulson, shutting down. She just held, and once the ball was released to the link, she shut down nicely. So good defence there by the number 1 from Taree Flames.
Pressure coming in there from Rose Bond, who makes the touch. Taree still looking to march upfield here. The defensive pressure is quite immense in this particular set from Newcastle, and now, as you can see, it's causing all sorts of problems for that subset. They're going nowhere and being pushed back, in fact.
That whole defensive set by Newcastle there is really good, but Taree, on touch 1, they went sideways. They need to go straight ahead, but they've opened them up down the side here. But
this is exactly what the doctor ordered, but last play there, unfortunately.
Yeah, they really need to go direct, especially in these dewy conditions. You need to go play straight. And play direct and wait until you get to the 10 metres before you start subbing. If you're starting to sub before, it's just too hard for making ground. And as we saw there, Newcastle were just pressing in defence.
That's ruled to be play on. The touch completed as the ball was popping out of the hands. Good call from the officials as Ireland moves it to the middle now. Still an option there. Ireland receives it, 1 off the ruck. popping it back toward the middle. Nice play. They keep cycling the footy. Oh, there was an option out wide, but really good read again, jamming in from the wing. This time it could be dangerous here for Taree. It's just fallen between link and wing, though. And they're doing enough here, Taree, just to unsettle Newcastle.
Yeah, the scramble's good for Taree, but Newcastle, I think they bummed a chance about 2 or 3 phases before. But here we go. This has probably been the best chance of the game so far for Newcastle. A full set of 6 on the 7.
It's Macy Cox out there along with Ireland. She hops in at acting half. Ireland back to Cox. Dummies both ways before linking back up again here with Ireland. And they weren't stepping up to that 7-metre mark. There's the first penalty. Of course, if they get 3 in a row, the player will be sat down. So 16 minutes to go, 9 minutes played still. Neither side able to trouble the scoreboard. So they play it pretty quick here. Cox heading towards the try line. Cox diving, and Cox goes in. First try for the Newcastle City Knights.
Cox has definitely been the dangerous one so far. So we're working off the 3-2 points score system. So first try gets the 3 points. Every try after that receives the 2 points, and that will nullify any drop-off towards the back end of the game. The only drop-off that will be accounted for would be a 0-all at the end of full time.
For a while there, I was thinking we might actually get it with this game. There's some good scramble from Taree. They've got work to do now, so they definitely need to be next to score. Here comes Taree. Upfield now with Brown. Nice quick roll ball as well. They'll have a crack all the way at the line, but they managed to get back there in time. It was Taylor Morgan who got her feet behind the line and then made the touch. So they go from right to left. Harris. Quick roll ball. However, they haven't completed it successfully, so Newcastle get the turnover here.
Seen that a bit this weekend, just teams losing count of what touch you're at to try and get that strike dump on the 5th touch to have that attacking play on the last. And then we saw Taree, they just lost their count and didn't really threaten Newcastle on the last play. That could have been a couple of steps over the mark, but she's gotten away with it, the young girl.
Another penalty here as well for Newcastle. That'll help them out to no ends. Short pass is provided from Ellers. Rucking it up the field is Bond. Ellers slows it on that 7-metre mark, midway through the count. Here is Ellers stepping off the left foot. They did a good job though, Taree. They were watchful, so still a couple of plays here for the Knights. They roll it back. Ellers once more operating through that central passage to Bond. Ellers crabbing across field. Taree eventually get up into the face of them. That ball coming out incidentally, so it's ruled to be play on. Not much doing so far for the Newcastle City Knights, but now on the last they will look to launch something here. Now they're claiming the touch here through Sarah Harris. There's a big debate about it as well.
I'm not too sure what they're going to play here. I think they're going to play a penalty, but just there, what could help Newcastle on that sweeper play is they're sweeping to a very short side. I'd like to see them try and get it more to a 50-50 in the middle of the field on that sweep, which opens the field up where you're sweeping to. And then that way, that will help that player that is diving at the line have more space. There we could see, basically in a 20-metre corridor, there's 4 defenders, and it's very hard to sweep to that corridor where there's so many defenders.
So Ella's caught. Back through here with Bond. Ella's now having a little crack at them from acting half. Quick hands here from Newcastle. They work the short side beautifully. And McCarthy cracks them here. Taree under all sorts of pressure now. 5-0 on the Guzman and Gomez scoreboard.
Nice play, a nice setup there by Newcastle City. They went against the grain. We could see Taree coming across to cover their right side defensively, and Newcastle just took off towards the open side and created the overlap with a 3-on-2, and well finished off by the young winger in the corner.
It's a nice play from the entire team. Now Taree very much behind the 8 ball, so McCarthy setting it up, and Howarth, I believe it was, with the finish. Short pass here from Wall as they keep cycling the footy. That's nice play from the Flames. They're not going to die wondering here.
No, they're definitely still in the game.
It's about 12 gone. So they go on the charge here, so they have gradually warmed their way into this contest. Last play now, they need to conjure up some sort of a miracle if they go that short side because they're well outnumbered. Yeah, and that was easy pickings for Newcastle.
Yeah, that last play, they probably need to kill it on their box side, and that way Newcastle had to come all the way across This is going to be a little bit too easy here for Newcastle just to get their fresh legs on. Not bad defensive set here by Taree. They're pressing up high.
I mean, that's obviously something that comes with a bit of experience. We are, of course, in the 16 girls division, so it'll come with a bit more time in the game.
That's a good defensive set by Taree. I thought they may have not had much of a chance there, but Taree's really pressed high, and Newcastle struggled to get out of their own half that set.
So Gemma Heath hopping in and acting half now. One of the Newcastle defenders goes sprawling onto her back. I think that might have been Layla Collins there. Also a little bit of a problem here for Taree, so slippery conditions and a few players losing their footing. Agnew out there now for Taree. So too is Owland. Here is Owland. Owland providing a pass back to the middle, looking to find Agnew. Just a little too low for her to reel in though.
Yeah, the ball was at the feet, but I reckon they could have went short side. There's not a lot of conditioning of the defence at the moment. They're very sporadic with their plays. They've ran a couple of sweeper plays, and they just ran a scoop and tried to step back. I'd like to see them try and condition the defence to either get them to pull a corner or to shut down. And then that way you can generate different plays to counteract that defensive structure.
So they won't have to do much defending though right now. Taree, changeover once again here for Newcastle. Despite that lead, they have been guilty of a few loose possessions, but so too have the Flames. So both sides turning it over in quick succession as Ellers comes upfield. Nice right foot step. Another one here opening up a good passage of play for Ellers. She picks up 20 off the back of that run. Another dummy. Ellers is causing all sorts of havoc through the middle here. And now they'll pop it away here through McCarthy. Quick hands. Play on is the call from the officials. Ellers again searching for an opening. It's the Ellers show so far in this set. Comes back to Rose Bond. Ellers off the right foot. They wrap around here with McCarthy, who had grand ideas of setting up some sort of play on this commentary side of the ground, but again, just a little bit slippery, that ball.
Yeah, she was coming around 100 miles an hour, but first thing you got to do is catch the ball. But just to touch on Ellers, a very famous touch football name coming through the ranks here at Newcastle City. Her older brother played in the Indigenous All-Stars, or could be cousin, sorry. Played in the Indigenous All-Stars, so there's a fair few Ellers coming through the ranks, which is good to see here from Newcastle. But Taree had a good chance down the side, but touch was made, I believe.
Officials rule it as such. Not quite done with yet, though, the assignment in defence here for Newcastle. Taree back to that 7 metre mark. Stacked on the far side of the ground. Now still look to operate down that skinny short side.
This is where we need to see Taree defensively push up high. Not let Newcastle get to the box. Try and force a turnover. Here we can see it's just too easy for Newcastle to shift the ball. They need to stop that shift, and this is good ground here by Ellers. Makes halfway on 2. That's good ground by Newcastle City.
Huge meters there from Ellers as they play it just over halfway now. Ireland onto the field, driving hard. Also good work here from Cox, who's been very dangerous. Here is Cox linking up out wide. They just got there in time. Good touch from Ruby Polson. They'll come back to the 7. It's not done with yet, though, here for Newcastle. Cox with the big dummy. She always looks lively. Long pass over the top. Really good hands there, but well marked up as well from Taree.
Yeah, once again, that's better from Taree, but they really need to work. Instead of letting them get down the other end, they need to work harder in the middle third. Try and stop Newcastle getting their flow, and that will help Taree get back into this game.
Taree head towards their subs box. Trying to get those fresh legs onto the field. Not a bad transition for them, and they'll pick up an extra set to play with here.
Yeah, good chance here for Taree. It'll be interesting to see whether they go to the rooster play like they ran, or whether they go to a sweeper play like they've also ran. Just maybe be a little bit more consistent with what style plays they're going to actually run.
And provide short here for Lara Watson. Just outside that 7 metre mark. Heath dropping it down. And now Wall is there, who is met with a brick wall of defence there from Newcastle. However, they're a little bit offside on that play, so they'll get another chance at them here, the Taree Flames.
Yeah, so see that play that Taree ran, that's called a rooster play. What that's designed to do, you're actually supposed to get it on the middle, which is actually the young girl in the blue hat, not the link that's pressing up high there. So Taree really need to get that on the middle, which will create the overlap when the rooster play wraps around. So that's something that Taree need to work on and identify what players they're going to dump the ball on.
think there they've tried to play it without the touch actually having occurred there from the Newcastle side, but that's that great defensive pressure you were talking about, that they need to get up in the faces. Time is against them here, under 7 to go. Quick release really would have worked for them quite nicely there, the Flames, but they just delayed the final pass.
Yeah, they keep running plays on this commentating side here, and I'd like to see them try and open the field up. See how they're so flat? There's no depth here in Taree. They need to get a little bit wider, a little bit deeper, actually run the Newcastle girls around, make them work a little bit harder in defence. Here we go. See how they're dumping the ball on this side. They need to open the field up a little bit more.
They do so this time round. And here's a little wraparound here from Heath. Heath coming at them at pace, but it's been left behind. So they need a result pretty soon here, Taree. 6 on the clock. They trail by 5. Of course, they need 3 tries at this point to sneak their way in front. Newcastle, the equation is pretty simple. Just keep doing what you're doing. Long pass provided here from Cox, who's been very impressive. Her and Ehlers have really controlled things nicely through that middle.
Yeah, they have. And here we've got a ball down. So Newcastle, they're inviting Taree back into the game. This is 3 sets in a row. They haven't got over halfway. So Taree really need to capitalise on this field position soon, or could be all over for them in this tournament.
So Watson in an acting half, and now provides to the middle. Little run here from Ruby McNeil. Very slow to get across towards their subs box. They've wasted half the set doing so. Now they really need to work for a strike dump. They'll keep cycling the footy. That's not bad. No one in there at acting half, though. So they had worked the dump, but they just hadn't had anyone in there in time. And they also, as you mentioned, David Stone, didn't have the full complement of players for half the set.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake there by Taree. They should be subbing early in the count, and one subbed on touch 4, touch 5 was made, and then that's the end of the set finish. So they need to work on that, trying to get fresh subs on earlier.
Oh, here we go, though, for the Newcastle City Knights. Great footwork as McCarthy nearly burnt them on the outside. Good speed shown as well. Now they join the action through Howarth. Still on a roll here, the Newcastle side. Ehlers is back out there. Short ball, quick hands, pops the pass. They're going to say it's a touch pass, though. That's very close for mine.
Yeah, that was a 50-50. It could have went either way, that one, but it's gone towards Taree. So, once again, good run down the sideline, but they didn't complete their set down towards the 7-metre line of Taree. So, Newcastle, if they want to progress further past this game and onto the grand finals and semi-finals, they really need to fix their completion rate up, I believe.
So 4 to go. Taree need a result, and they need it quickly. Newcastle, 2 tries to 0, of course. That first try worth an additional point, 3 points, if you can crack the line to begin with. Ehlers scheming as always. Pops it back towards the middle here through Bond. Drops it down. Ehlers, quick hands. Well, the idea was right, just not the correct execution, though.
Yeah, that's correct. And especially in these conditions, the Newcastle girls, they just need to start winding the clock down. So I think that was about touch 2, and they've turned the ball over once again. So these things, if Newcastle, like I just said, if Newcastle want to progress in the finals, these little things, they have to have time management towards the back end of the games if they're in front. Just complete their sets down the other end, make Taree go all the way down to score a try. So these little things, I'm sure the coaching staff will watch back and fix up towards the quarters or the semi-finals, should I say.
A nice couple of plays there from Taree, driving hard up down a short side. The dummy comes in once more. They head towards the line. I think they'll get another set to play with here. Yes, they will. All offside, Newcastle. It's a smart play there from Taree. They identified a few lazy markers.
Yeah, there was a player caught offside, and the acting half attacked that player, and then they caught a 3-on-2 overlap and just couldn't execute that final pass.
So Taree early through this follow-up set, supplying it here for Marley Brown, who then takes it to the 7. Brown drops it for O'Connor. Once more they operate, trying to isolate one of the link positions. I'd just like to see them, as you mentioned, Stoney, draw them one way before opening up the play. It's been a lot of attempting to fatigue the link as opposed to actually really working through the entire field.
Yeah, there's 2 ways you can look at things, and I'll explain it very shortly. So if a link is making the touch and they consistently make the touch, what you can do is we call a punish line. So you try and get a quickie play on the link and try and burn them on the outside shoulder to the corner. That way, later on in the game, it puts a link in 2 minds, and the middle may start coming up and defend, and that's the person you want to run them rooster plays and that on. So something for the people out there listening, just be mindful if the Lynx keep making touches, try and punish them and get them out of making the touches and get the middles involved.
So Ireland drops it down. Cox with a great pickup. Cox at pace with the big dummy. Macy Cox into the backfield. What a pass that is. But I think they've done enough here, the Flames. Great cover defence.
Very good touch. So Cox, she's been good through this game. She could have the GYG player of the match so far.
Well, here she is again. Cox, this time unable to find the support. They'll get another crack at them here, Newcastle. Referee's playing advantage, so just over a minute left. Guzman and Gomez is beckoning, not just for player of the match, but also my stomach. I'm very hungry, Stoney.
Yes, our partners in GYG, they've been good for the Northern Southern Conference this year. They've come on board, so good to have them, and they've been handing out some little goodies to all the players, so thank you to the GYG and all our other partners.
So they roll it just shy of that 7 metre mark. They did make the line in time, though, and get the touch inside the final minute. So Newcastle have this one all wrapped up. The clock will beat Taree here, but a very valiant effort. They won't want to concede again. Ireland heads towards that 7 metre mark again here. Cox, ball out in two hands. Good touch made there, though, from Harris.
You can see the difference here with Newcastle. They're getting the middles. They're running rooster plays the same as Taree, but they're getting the middle defenders to make the touch. So that's a lot different. That's probably the difference between both sides. Here again, a sweeper play in the middle makes it. So I think that's a try. Oh, okay. So well defended there by the 8, I believe, from Taree, and that could be Harris.
That's 2 in a row in that set that Harris saved directly on the line. So with just over 5 seconds remaining, this might be the last play here for Taree. They'll get the roll ball there, but not in time. The siren beats them, and Newcastle advance to the quarter-final stage of the competition. For Taree, their journey ends here, but a valiant effort nonetheless at full time. Newcastle 5-0, and up for you next in 5 minutes. We move to the 14 boys division. Another round of 16 fixture between the Doyleson Dragons and Gunnedah. Goannas. All the action coming your way in 5 minutes on Bar TV and New South Wales Touch Football.